Welcome back. My name is Bo. I'm the founder and CEO of Bellwood Investments, and you are with us now on our 21st episode of the Big Moves podcast. With me here today is David Contreras.
Hello, hello.
Our videographer and marketing extraordinaire, and he's going to be sitting in and asking some questions and kind of, some general questions that people would like to know about, and he's going to be asking them. We'll be filling you in. So how's your day going?
Good. Excited to be here. Yeah, this is different, right? To do it this way, but.
It is. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Well, there's a lot of people that literally ask the same questions that you've asked me time and time again. And I've heard them. And so let's get those out there. We got a couple good properties we can use as examples. One of which, guys, is 1617 Viewmont, which had a record funding of 36 minutes. So
I don't know if you know how many people are disappointed. Oh, they didn't get in on that.
I know. And one of them was your friend.
It wasn't my friend, yeah. But so 1617 Viewmont.
Yeah.
That's where we were yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Day before yesterday.
Yeah. It's actually across the street from another property, 1610 Viewmont, which
exactly.
is...
Yeah. So you got to walk that one. You got to take some video footage of it.
Yeah.
And we had a celebrity there by the name of Moneybag Yo. And he left the house with a distinctive, humbled, focused aroma.
And a big bag
And he left a bag there.
A bag that, fortunately, didn't have any money in it.
What did it have in there, Dave?
I think there were cat toys, some like cat rattles, like a cat bowl. Nothing I wanted, but.
So he's a friend of feline.
Yeah.
In more ways than one, I'm sure. I've seen some of his videos, so we'll leave that alone. Fantastic.
Let's get back to 1617. Yeah. I think we could run through that. So that's the latest. Would you say that's the latest acquisition, or at least Hollywood Hills acquisition?
So 1617 was actually brought to us rather quickly. Our agent, who works with the agency, Jean Baptiste, he is representing us on the acquisition of 1610 Viewmont. And during that process, he noticed that the home across the street a while ago was for sale, but they didn't get the price that they wanted and they went off the market. So John went across the street, knocked on the door, which is huge for agents, right? Real estate is going to get more and more tough, especially with all the regulations that are in place. Just going and knocking on that door netted him an extra, I don't know, probably $60,000 in commission.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and maybe even more than that. So that was a 5-minute conversation. He said, hey, I'm with my buyers over here, Bellwood, and they're buying this property. They're going to renovate it and sell it. I see that you were at one time selling your home. And he said, yeah, we're considering listing it again. And I was in there within 5 minutes. I walked right across the street, walked through the home. It was beautiful. It has so much potential. And we gave him an offer, which was far less than what he was listing at earlier. But we told him, hey, you don't have to go back on the market. You don't have to have people going through your home. And Jean Baptiste is making, nearly 6 figures probably on this transaction. And it's 2.5 million and he's going to be making, 3% on that. So it's $75,000 that he's going to be making on that. So that's really, really cool from a 5-minute conversation.
So let's look at the timeline of that. How long ago was that you first entered the property and spoke to the homeowner about making an offer?
I would say, so I've been there twice. It's been about 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And then, so we went there Monday just to tour it. You wanted to get some design ideas.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to do another walkthrough, right? So initially I did my walkthrough, which was just to see if it has potential. Right? Okay. And then I run my numbers. Okay, cool. Because I didn't have time to do my due diligence at the office. I had to, on the spot, we're over at 1610. Hey, this house is open. Do you want to go take a look at it? So we walk through there and I'm just looking at the aesthetic, right? What can we do to make this beautiful, hip, popular Hollywood Hills entertainer's home? Because that's why people stay up there. And it checked all the boxes immediately. So I knew that it had potential. And as a matter of fact, the house directly next to it was renovated. by a local builder, and he's going to be selling that home for $7.2 million. We're going to be doing the exact same thing. We're going to be doing the exact same thing to this house. We're not going to recreate the wheel. We're going to say, hey, okay, you've done a really good job designing this home. It's actually a model match of our structure. So I'm going to copy you. I'm going to change a couple of the colors, some of the aluminum cladding on the front, the aesthetic, overall aesthetic. It's going to be a little bit different, but structurally, it's going to have the same things, same features. So if they're going to be selling at $7.2 million, I think we quoted $6 million resale. So if we're going to do the same thing and we're going to be $1 million less, well, then that tells me that we have room for error. We have room to which we don't try to have any errors, right? But there are. This is renovations. We don't know what we're going to get into per se. We have a good idea. But at the end of the day, there are some things that can come up. So we've left a huge margin of error, though we won't use it. And we're going to be a newer product than our neighbors selling at $7.2 million.
Okay, so about 2 weeks ago, you walked in there.
Walked in there 2 weeks ago.
Made the offer.
Made the offer.
We toured it again on Monday.
So I made the offer after I did my homework, right? So I went by, said, okay, this looks good. And then went back to the office and did my due diligence. I looked at all the neighbors. I found the plans, got the plans that's in the video that you did. And so we were able to say, okay, great. You know, this can be what we want it to be structurally. We looked into the building department, the planning department, see if they can accommodate what we're trying to do. And they can. Yeah. So we're excited, and yeah, less than 2 weeks to get that one fully processed.
So when did that one close?
So they're actually ready to close right now. They're really excited. As you heard in the video, he's like, hey, I'm ready to sign this lease, right? You know, just sign on the dotted line. Yeah. So we're going to do that, and we're going to turned off with me, and we'll be probably starting construction within a week.
That was going to be my next question. So I think we want to talk mostly about 1610 Viewmont, but let's just go over this one really quick.
Yeah.
Construction starts in about a week.
Yes.
Quickly, what kind of renovations?
1610, right? It's a beautiful home, really. You don't think it needs much.
Oh, no, 1617 really quick.
Oh, 1617. Yeah, what are we doing over there? Okay, yeah.
I mean, the video's on YouTube talking about it, but I mean,
oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, super exciting. So we're going to add some really key features, right? Pool and elevator. Right, probably our most expensive additions. We're actually going to be, that elevator is going to be a 4-stop elevator. It's going to have our top party deck. Then it's going to have 2 household levels, which is going to be our main level, and then upper level, which has guest bedrooms. And then the bottom, which is going to be our movie theater.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we're going to do the movie theater right down there. So you're able to not take those scary steps or that ladder laying on its side, right? You don't have to take that down to the movie theater. Take the elevator straight down. It's going to be on the exterior of the home. We're going to be improving all the decking around the front of the home. Now, or not the front, the back of the home, which has the view, right? So what we want is for people to fully embrace what that home was put on that hillside for, which was the view. And what happens is a lot of times builders, when they build these homes, they're limited with a budget, and they're not able to accomplish some of the things that somebody with a higher budget would be able to afford, and which would accommodate better views or a pool or these things. Right. So later on in the process, now if I were to build that home, it would be far too expensive to build it and then add these amenities. So a renovation is really the most ideal time to say, hey, we're saving so much money not having to rebuild this home, but now we can add on all these modern amenities, elevator, pool, solar panels, heated flooring, saunas, all these really cool features.
Moving the kitchen.
Absolutely moving the kitchen. So moving the kitchen, new decks, we're a movie theater. Just the windows alone, we're going to be putting a folding door system in, which is a frameless folding door system. One of those is about $60,000, just one door. And I think we're gonna need about 3 of them at least. But it's the most popular product on the market right now, and one that we're putting in our $15 million home. So super excited about adding those types of finishes to this product. That's what's gonna sell it.
Right. Well, it sort of reminds me of one thing that you've touched on a few times, is the sort of reusing or sort of repurposing, recycling element of, because that kitchen, probably done within the last 5 years maybe.
Probably 5
Yeah,
years.
the first thing I know, I mean, it wasn't the style that I preferred, but the sink was beautiful.
Yes.
I forgot what they're called, like those.
It's a farmhouse.
Farmhouse thing. It's beautiful. And the appliances were really nice, right? But that's not.
That's a personal touch. Does that house look like a farmhouse in the Hollywood Hills, right?
No.
Like, yeah, it's, unfortunately, what they did is what we call pride in ownership. Okay, so these folks are really, really hard to share future visions with the home to basically justify why we're offering them a lower price. Well, we're gonna have to tear out this kitchen. Well, why would you tear out this kitchen? I just put it in 5 years ago, spent 50 grand on it. Yeah, I understand that, but it has to be over here.
Yeah.
And it has to look like these cabinets. Yeah. And so having that pride in ownership where you're like, oh my gosh, I spent all of my hard-earned money on this. And so when somebody tells you, we gotta rip it out, it's a really hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, it's not unlike what I've seen with custom cars, custom motorcycles. Somebody buys a stock bike and they add these cool custom wheels or custom components to it that they think it actually adds value in resale, but when it was just sort of a personal choice that was made, it actually almost kind of lowers the value of the product, and then the seller's really disappointed. They're like, well, I put out $5,000 worth of upgrades. Why aren't I getting $5,000 additional on top of what I paid?
Absolutely.
Those are just what you wanted, and they don't really have any value outside of that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame but getting back to my point is that a lot of that stuff is not going to go to waste, right? Like that sink and the appliances, you'll find other uses for it. Probably.
So
sometimes you do.
In some circumstances we will. So in the Hollywood Hills, we wouldn't use this product. Maybe in Arcadia, when we have some ranch style homes, we might be able to use some of these cabinets. But once we take these cabinets out, there's going to be some damage to them.
Sure.
They don't just come out very easily. So there's going to be some damage to them. So that means that we're going to have to put it in a home that will accept used cabinets, which we're not really buying any homes right now where somebody's going to go in there and say, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful home and I love the used cabinets.
Yeah.
They're coming in there saying, we want the used car smell and not used cars. Who wants a used car smell?
The new
car smell, not the used car smell, right? So they want to walk in there, they want to say, oh, this is fresh. They don't want to say, oh, this is fresh, but it's used. We want everything to look new when we're spending several $1 million. Yeah. Now, could we use those in Sacramento? Absolutely. Can we use those in a garage in, let's say, a $2 million or less home? Yeah, we could use those in a garage or a workshop. Yeah. But that's what we would use those primarily for. And that's unfortunate because that's what we're left with here in Southern California, is we have to step up our game. Now in other areas, I could put those cabinets in any property under $700,000 in Northern California. No problem. Even, gently used, little nicks here and there, and they would be fine. Mm. But down here?
Oh, not here, correct.
No, it just won't.
But the point remains that there's not a sort of big impact environmental. Like there's a lesser impact environmentally when renovating a house as opposed to building a new house.
So now, when it comes to cabinetry and cabinets, that's not as big of an impact than, let's say, getting a framing semi up there with, 5 tons of lumber and a crane to get these trusses up. Or concrete trucks, like that. The big ticket items we don't have to mess with. Yeah. And that's what impacts the environment the most. You got tractors up there, you got semi trucks, you have all these big machinery that are involved with new building. Well, Bellwood doesn't need those. So we're 1/32 of the carbon emissions that are emitted during a building process. So new construction versus us, Now, when it comes to cabinetry and those things, those can be brought up on a regular truck with one of our contractors. They can be brought up by a cabinet company that isn't going to bring a huge semi for one kitchen or a few bathrooms worth of cabinetry. So the impact is less, but it is a good point that you brought up, because we are not only taking something and making it new again, making it usable and a nice product, but we're saving the environment a huge impact that new builders are doing right now, without a doubt.
Right. Yeah. Awesome.
I think it's 80,000 tons of carbon emissions are emitted during a new construction process.
Per house.
On average.
Per house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine an entire neighborhood?
Yeah. So and so I want to say it's 80,000 cubic tons, and I read this, and it may be less, and I may be a zero off, but still it's a lot, and we're 1/32nd of it. So I haven't done the math for a long time. I don't know the exact numbers, but I remember saying, hey, wow, we are such a small fraction of that number.
Right.
So
which is kind of funny. It makes me think of Irvine, because there's all this new construction. They've been doing construction crazy over the last 20 years or so.
Yeah.
But everybody drives a Tesla. They've been trying to offset that. I don't think anybody thinks about the carbon emissions or the carbon footprint that comes about building new construction.
Well, yeah, new construction, but let's think about even Teslas, right? There's an impact.
Of course.
There's a huge impact.
Yeah.
Those guys, you're like, oh, well, I'm saving the environment by driving a Tesla, but at the end of the day, and I'll bring this back down to real estate, why it's similar, is yes, the Tesla itself, just by itself, isn't creating a huge impact, but the batteries, which are being, the lithium is being mined by gas engines, internal combustion engines, and those are the ones impacting the environment far greater than a typical Toyota internal combustion vehicle. So yeah, it might not be impacting it over here, but it's impacting the environment over here. Same thing with new construction. So what builders have done is say, we're building a green home. And that's got solar, and we're using recycled material. Recycled material means particle board and cheap stuff, basically. And solar panels have gotten relatively affordable, but now they're able to call it a green home. Then they throw in some Wi-Fi, which every home has Wi-Fi, and now it's a smart home. I can walk in there, hello, Mr. Belmont, what temperature would you like it today? Like, you can get that. That's just software. That's just, that's a tablet you could have on the entry of your home. So not only is it green, but it's smart, and that's what new builders have packaged their homes in. However, the environmental impact isn't seen environmentally, like the world doesn't see the benefits of this environmentally friendly home for 80 years. So that's maybe where I got the 80 from, but that is I do know that for fact. 80 years are going to pass by before the environment, before the earth says, oh well, thank you for building that house. I'm finally starting to feel that goodness.
The people who bought the house won't even
know. Or the people after that, or the people probably 4 families are going to go through there before there's been an positive environmental impact. From that home. And by that time, it's been renovated 3 or 4 times, and there's been more environmental impact, so it's incrementally gotten higher. And
who knows what kind of regulations.
So it's BS. It's absolute BS. Versus Bellwood, like I said, you don't have any tractors going out there. We're not doing anything crazy. And if we do have a tractor, it's going to be a little mini excavator digging a pool. Yeah. Not a huge, bulldozer taking down trees and clearing, a whole area.
So speaking of building a pool, let's transition to 1610.
Jeez, what a that's it's going to be an amazing pool, but probably the biggest, without a doubt, the biggest, most expensive pool we've ever built.
So let's sort of just describe this really quick. So if you look at Viewmont Drive, it's basically it's a spine on a ridge line, right? Mm-hmm. And the street's right down the middle.
Yep.
And we have 1617 on one side.
Yes.
Literally built on the hill, and then 1610 on the opposite side, literally built on a hill. Mm-hmm. does the house overhang the hill? It does, right? Like they're
The houses are not cantilevered over; they're on, but they're built differently. So 1617 is on caissons, and then Viewmont is on footings.
It's on footings. Okay. So the house is pretty much, I mean, would you call it a light remodel, right, or a light fixer? Because it was an Airbnb.
So yes, it is. It is. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's beautiful. You saw the pictures of it. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's got the normal wear and tear that you would see at, say, Airbnb. The flooring's got some scuffs. We're going to need to sand that down. But probably one of the biggest things that we're going to do on the inside is change the door height. So it's a standard height, right? You would say, oh, well, that's just normal. But for a home selling in the $6 to $7 million range, our competition has stepped up their game, and large, tall doors are a thing. And so, stepping into this home, everything is grand, but then you go through the rooms and it's a lower door height. So we're gonna need to reframe all those doorways and put in taller doors.
Every single door?
Every single door, yeah.
Because it's a 5-bedroom.
5 bedrooms, but then there's also the bathroom doors. Right? There's probably 30 doors in there that we're going to have to change.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So besides that, the big change is going to be at the addition of the swimming pool.
So the pool, I mean, so what we had, Dave, was we had an engineer say that we needed 16 caissons buried down into the bedrock 75 feet. Wow. Which is, I mean, if we're going to build a large hospital, we would probably need that. So it's way over engineered. Now we have a new engineer on the project, which that was going to take us our entire budget. I believe our budget for that is 700 or 800,000. And the pool was going to cost that much with 16 caissons. Wow. And that doesn't leave much room for doors and some finish work on the inside, some repairs that we need to do on the inside, and some aesthetic on the front. We need to change the facade a little bit.
Yeah. With 16, I don't know, I mean, I'm obviously not an engineer, but it does seem excessive because the pool that you want to add is not that big.
So the pool that they had, that they designed, it looked like a something out of Star Wars. It was crazy. And had steps down, and had just this weird kind of, I don't even know what shape it was, but it had a theater in there below the pool. It had a lot of extras that we don't need. We just need a pool. That's it, and a hot tub, and a view from the platform there. And so we're going to get that lowered from 16 to probably 8 caissons, so about half the cost of drilling. So that saves, our drilling was going to be about 400,000. So maybe that can bring us down to 200. That'll give us the margin we need to get inside and make the repairs that we need to. It was going to be a little skinny. This is going to be, if we did have to put those 16 caissons, this is a perfect example of us going over budget. Yeah. And it's not intended, but it does happen. Yeah. And so that's when we have to come to the table, and Bellwood usually, always takes care of that cost.
So reframing the doors, maybe just doing some light sanding on the floors.
Yeah, so we're going to refinish the floors. All the quartz and granite it looked really good. It's got some nice wallpaper in there. This is a trendy Hollywood Hills home, and it had to maintain that type of look. Huh?
Pictures.
Oh yeah. Let's look at the pictures. Yeah, other than a little bit of wear and tear, I would say that this home is probably, I could probably finish the inside of this home within a month.
Wow. Wait, how long do you think the pool will take?
The pool's gonna take 4 months, minimum.
Wow.
Yeah, just for planning, we have pre-approved plans, but they haven't been submitted for quite some time, so we'll give them a month to go through. The planning department just is ridiculous. They're just an overpaid, they're so heavily influenced by lobbyists and outside like how are you going to try to put affordable housing in Beverly Hills? How, and so you have the government influencing the planning department doing something that goes against what is going to be beneficial for that community. So you have a mixed bag when it comes to the planning department. Whose side are they on? How are you in their good graces? Because they can just completely stop a project on its tracks immediately. So here's the house. Yep, nice glass railing, smooth texture walls. It's got the linear air diffusers for the HVAC units. The quartz is beautiful. It's got some nice trendy looking cabinets. We're not gonna be messing with any of this. There might be some repairs that need to be done, but for the most part, it's pretty dialed. I might change from chrome to black.
Yeah, it's a bit more contemporary.
A little bit more elegant.
Yeah.
I mean, I
There's
do.
some gold in there.
Yeah, could throw some gold in there.
Oh, there is a little gold in there. Well, like the light fixtures. I think there's some upstairs too that are kind of gold. Well, like the chandelier.
Yeah.
But the first thing is that this place is fully furnished.
Yes.
What becomes of all of that once it's ready for sale?
So I'll sell it furnished.
Oh, you'll sell it like that?
Yeah, I'll sell it like that. And if they don't want the furniture, then I'll be doing a yard sale. Yeah, I don't have any need for it. It's used furniture. If we need some, we can bring it up to our warehouse in Sacramento and use it for some staging up there. But for the most part, this is, we'll go with the home, and maybe the new homeowner will keep it as an Airbnb, or you never know. But I don't want to mess with it.
Sure.
Yeah, it can be a little time consuming. So the floor has a little bit of scuffs in it, as you can see right around here. We'll be getting rid of all that, adding some nosing. The windows are an aluminum window, which are a pretty good quality, but I think we're gonna go with black on these. Just a little bit more trendy, clean it up. And they're limited in height. I can open that up. We can't go lower, but we can go higher. And even 6 more inches on this window will have a dramatic effect.
So technically, what is the reason why you wouldn't be able to go lower, but you can go higher?
So if people falling out, so egress, children going out the window, that's the biggest problem. Now, if you do go all the way, you can go all the way down to the floor with a window, but then it has to be a tempered glass, and it has to open a certain direction, not as much. You can't just walk out, right? There's going to be some factors there.
Well, look at the view, though.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So with this view, add 6 more inches above that.
Yeah.
You have the space. What are you doing? You could have made that much more dramatic, right? That's the builder really kind of missed on that one.
So the window that we just saw on this window here, which is that's the master bedroom.
Is this Yep.
Yeah, and that's the master bath. And those windows are facing the same direction, which is the same direction which the living room is facing, which is the same direction where the pool will be. So the pool will have that same view.
100%. Yeah, no, and that's one of the things that we're looking at when we're buying these homes is, does this have the view? Now, if this didn't have the view, I wouldn't be buying this home.
Yeah.
Same thing with 1617. It's got a view. It's got a different view, but it's got a city view. This is ultra dramatic view. I mean, you can't beat this really. And this is worldwide. This is not just popular for people that live in Hollywood. This is popular for people that live in China, that live in Australia, that live in the UK. They say, oh my gosh, because Beverly Hills, Hollywood Hills, it's popular globally. Yeah. And so people are traveling here and buying these homes. So not only do we have a local market, but we have a global market, which is massive. You can't say the same thing for, let's say, Irvine. Right? That's going to be your local community. You might get some outside business, but for the most part, people that live in the area are going to be trying to source their home there. Sure. You have people from all over the world trying to source their home here.
And for reference, and I was noticing yesterday, actually when I was up on the roof, that from that view, you obviously see downtown LA, the Griffith Observatory.
Yep.
Snow-capped mountains I can see from there.
And the ocean, you probably.
And the ocean, yeah. Where you go to the right, you see the ocean. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll see over past to Santa Monica. So right here, guys, that is a picture window right there, big old picture window. But what we can do now is we can actually drop that window all the way down to the floor, do a soaking tub that doesn't need to be attached to the walls here. See how the tub's attached here? We don't need that. We can do a soaking tub, which is popular, right? Soaking tubs are popular. It's gonna give us a lot more space in this area. I can get rid of this and just create an entire shower and tub all in one open space area, right? And then I'm gonna drop these windows all the way down to the floor. So
the other one as well.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll make it wider.
Yeah.
So this window, imagine all the way to the ground, and this window wider and all the way down to the ground. You're sitting there showering. Now, if somebody wanted to get a really high-powered telescope and sit up here on the top of this building, they're gonna see you in all your glory.
Or a drone.
Yeah, or a drone. Hey, if they're putting in that much effort to catch a couple, pics, unless you're a celebrity, take it as flattery.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, here it is, guys.
But as is, coming from me, like if I had that bathroom, it's perfect. I wouldn't change the thing. But
well, see, that's the thing is, when you're spending $7 million or $6 million, that is at a level that I aren't buying in. But if you had $7 million that you worked very, very hard at, not saying that the money that you made isn't hard, you worked hard for it, but at $7 million on the way up to that product, because you gradually get there. You don't go from a $350,000 house to a $7 million house. As you gradually make your way up there, your tastes and attractions tend to go along that way, right? And that window, as your taste gets more expensive, gets bigger and bigger. The view needs to be more grand. The competition, right? My competition is brand new construction with floor to ceiling folding frameless windows.
Yeah.
Right? So what is good for me and you, I love that. I would, if I was living there, I wouldn't touch a thing. But the people that are spending $6 to $7 million, they would.
Yeah, I might get rid of the plastic chair, but
the plastic chair? Well, that's the only thing that we really want to keep there. Why a plastic chair?
I don't know, and why there? That's really weird. But
we're gonna have to. There's a picture of money bags in that chair.
Probably in there. Probably. I don't know if I'd want to see that photo.
Buff in the buff.
In the buff.
Just looking out over the view. Yeah, I don't know about that one. So that's it. Just really, and I would really like to put a small deck. If I could do a small deck out there, just a little platform. That way I could put some folding doors there and really open it up to get some airflow in there. That would be ideal. It really would. But, we'll have to have the engineer take a look at it. The cost, right? If we're gonna open up this anyways, we might as well bust open this floor, see if we can sister onto some joists and cantilever out a little bit.
Would you do it here or would you do it in the master bedroom?
Isn't this the master bedroom?
Well, that's the master bath, yeah, but from the...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the whole way out.
The whole thing, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
there's the view.
There's the view right there. Boom.
And it's beautiful because we've had all this rain, and so the hillsides are green.
Yeah. It is absolutely amazing. What's crazy is you're looking at some of this and you're saying, dang, is that CGI? Right? Uh-huh. It almost looks like it's computer generated, but that's real. These are all real houses. Built into the hillside. So much money is being spent in this area, which gives me comfort, right? Yeah. These people are, building these $30, $40 million homes. Okay, great. Well, that gives me job security knowing that my $7 million home is well positioned. Now, if I was building an $80 million home up here, I'd probably be worried just in general. That's a risk. But when we provide entry level to this type of environment, well, then you really can't go wrong. Yeah, that view is something else.
And I think that's West Hollywood, probably down. That's looking over West Hollywood, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is What would you call it? The game room, perhaps? Maybe
The rumpus room.
Rumpus room.
Yeah. So this is entertainment deck up here, right? You come up and do all the fun things.
Right. And it's not a jacuzzi that's up there, right? That's
No jacuzzi. There's
It's a barbecue.
This is a outdoor kitchen. So we have a barbecue. We have a pizza oven. Never used.
Wow.
There is not one piece of gristle in that barbecue.
Money bag, didn't like pizza apparently.
No, or the pizza oven. Yeah, it's not been used. No, not at all. Yeah, no. There's nothing being used. Nothing that has been used. Even the refrigerator has all the manuals in there.
Oh, wow.
You know, you figure people are staying here only for Airbnb. That's the only thing that's ever stayed here.
They're
not going to go fill. No, they're going to order in. Like you're going to spend 30 minutes babysitting a pizza. But if you live here, absolutely, really cool feature. So outdoor deck, party area, interior and exterior, and the view, right? Can't go wrong with that view.
Oh, you can see the pool, the neighbor's pool.
Yep, let's look. Yeah, we'll
What was that?
see.
Oh, I think you just passed it.
Did I go too fast?
I think you gotta go back. Yeah, I didn't film it, but I mean, you can kind of catch it.
Oh, is it here? We'll zoom it through and see what we're going here. Going.
There it is.
Oh, over there.
Yeah.
So that's a $22 million home. So we're not even trying to mess with that. So the house to our left right here, this one right here has a pool, and we're going to be copying their pool. Not quite as far out, but a very similar, rectangular build, nothing too crazy. We probably won't add the movie theater underneath like it has, but that's it.
It's awesome.
What do you think?
I mean, I've actually been looking forward to seeing this house for a while. It was cool to go in finally yesterday, and it's much bigger than I thought. There's just seems like it's not endless bedrooms, but I mean, I think it's 5 bedrooms. There's a bathroom in almost every bedroom except the one downstairs.
Try to if I can get this pool down to an affordable rate with the discount and the caissons, then I'm going to add an elevator here too.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, you have to worry about the setbacks. But I'm not worried about the setbacks because the elevator actually just did the numbers. I believe it's a 48 square box, 48-inch square box that will need to be attached to the side of the home. So here's this stairway going down. So that means that my setbacks are at least right here. Mm-hmm. So as long as I don't go further out past this walkway or the stairway, that means my elevator can be all right here. Wow. And it can go all the way, obviously goes up and down. Yeah.
So can we talk numbers?
Yeah, let's talk numbers.
The guy was renting it. First, this is sort of a curious question. The guy had it as an Airbnb and then decided to sell it to Bell.
Yeah, he lost it.
Oh, he lost it.
He lost it.
Oh, wow. Because the Airbnb business wasn't doing very well.
I don't know. That's why I always tell people, like, hey, I never bank on Airbnb pricing for this exact reason. Now, when it's hot, it's hot. Yeah. But when it's not, I mean, competition level is high. When you're spending $1,000 a night in Hollywood, now you can get some really, really cool houses for $1,000 a night that have grottos and that have, pools. That's the most important thing. People want to have a pool party. This house doesn't have that. So when there was limited inventory with Airbnbs, this house crushed it. But now that there's more opportunity, it's lost its allure.
Wow. So
unless you don't like swimming pools, right. Which money bags you. I don't think he cared.
I don't think he cared.
So
what was the purchase price?
Purchase price on this one was 3.3, I believe, 3.3 or 3.5.
And then what are you thinking in terms of construction costs?
So we're going to be putting about $750,000 or $800,000 in this.
Wow. That includes the pool.
And that includes the pool because we don't have to do interior renovations, right?
Yeah.
So think about if we had now on 1617, we have to make the inside look like this one or even better.
Yeah.
And then we have to add the pool, then we have to add all the windows. This has most of those components done. We'll just be adding some features to it, right? Some windows in the master bedroom, hopefully that deck right there. But for the most part, it's done. 1617, it needs everything.
Yeah. So What sale price, what are you thinking, expecting, roughly, based on comps?
So based on comps and the fact that our neighbor is going to be selling their house at 7.2, will be bigger and better than our neighbor. I would say we're probably talking same numbers, 7 to 7.5. Yeah, there's a mansion tax there, which I believe is 5.5%.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bitter pill to swallow right there.
So that's awesome for whoever was able to get in on this property.
Well, that's the thing is we're generating comps. So I did this one time before. I did this in Sacramento. It was on Aurelius and I forget. It was in a place called Orangeville. And there was 2 streets and one of them ended in a cul-de-sac. And I had the opportunity to buy like 5 houses in this neighborhood, similar to what we're doing on Viewmont. And I was able to set the comps for each one, raising the values single-handedly in that neighborhood and using, and the thing is, the appraiser doesn't do a title search to see whose homes those were and then contest value like, hey, you can't, you have a monopoly on this neighborhood, you're artificially inflating values. They didn't do that. So as we increase value here by improving the neighborhood, we're setting our own comps, we're setting the pace for this neighborhood. So we could see maybe a 10% greater increase in value just by us dominating this ridgeline in Hollywood. Wow. Yeah, huge.
So for the people that got in on this, roughly, because people just always want to know what the numbers are. How much money can I make? What are you anticipating roughly ROI?
Geez, probably around $1 zillion. I don't know what the ROI is. Typically on a big project like this, we're going to want to keep those over 40%, right, to give us that margin. I believe Viewmont was somewhere around 80% or something like that. So anytime we have a multi-million-dollar project, I like to literally keep it, over 40% return, hovering near 100% return. Why? Well, let's just talk about requests for repairs on a $10 million home. Now, they could say, well, we'll take care of everything. Just take $500,000 off of the purchase price. Now, relative to the purchase price, that might be reasonable in some circumstances. And there's always requests for repair items. Now, such an egregious amount, there should not be that much on any of our homes. But I'm using this as an example. Requests for repairs, price reductions, those things at this higher level can be hundreds of thousands of dollars in price reduction. Now, when we're making hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit, or maybe $1 million in profit, that quickly reduced us by 20, 30% just by those requests. So when we have those types of figures, we want to just be overly safe. We want to say, okay, worst case scenario, we can sell this for 30% less than what we were shooting for and get out of here scot-free and maybe even have a little bit of profit. But if everything is as is and stays as is, then we will hit 80% return. So that's the benefit of working with us, is like we're literally planning on worst case scenarios. Like, what happens if we can't sell this home? Well, I've already told you, if we can't sell the home, then we quickly go to a rental circumstance where we can rent it to cover the debt that we have on there. If those numbers don't equate, if we're not able to rent this thing out for what we owe on there to pay the mortgage, then we won't buy it in the first place. So we literally plan on not being able to sell it. Now, do we plan on selling? Yes. But we say, well, we're going to plan for the worst case scenario. And in this situation, what we're paying for, what we're buying this home for, if we didn't sell it, we could put a renter in there, pay the mortgage, pay the utilities, pay the property taxes, sit back and recycle or cycle investors out of it. Long-term investors for short-term investors. Hey, I wasn't expecting to be on a long-term rental. Great. But Joe over here was, because he wants to put his money somewhere for 5 to 10 years. He doesn't want to have the tax implications of a short-term flip. We have long-term investors, we have short-term investors. So it's always planning for that worst case scenario. Now, if you plan on making it an Airbnb, that is the worst thing that you could possibly do. Because typically you're buying a home that's already done, right, as an Airbnb. Oh, I'm gonna buy it and we're just gonna furnish it, or maybe it's already furnished and we're just gonna put it on Airbnb and we're gonna make a ton of money. Well, that really is not the case unless you have a really, really unique home that people are just, booking, and there are some, but it costs a lot of money and there's a lot of maintenance with that. So if you buy a home and you say, I'm paying market value, I'm gonna spend more money to furnish it, and then I'm gonna put it as an Airbnb, and then what happens? Somebody gets in the ear of the city council member, the mayor, and there's a fight, or there's drugs, or there's parties, neighbors are complaining. Next thing you know, you can't have an Airbnb in this neighborhood, but you just paid so much more for it to be that, right? That is a fail. Yeah. And that is exactly what our friend did in this situation is he banked on an Airbnb lasting him forever. Mm-hmm. And you can't do that. What I can tell you will last forever is homes being sold to people that are going to live in them, and homes being sold to people, or homes being rented to people. Because if you're not buying a home, you got to rent one. You're not just going to find a bridge to live under, right? Yeah. So plan for the worst, hope for the best, and that will keep you safe in real estate.
1617, that one went on up yesterday, funded in under 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was actually record timing. Yeah, 36 minutes fully funded. I believe we raised over $1 million.
Yeah, and the minimum amount to invest on that one was,
I think it was $20,000.
20,000, yeah.
20,000.
That's amazing.
And it's unfortunate, right? We have not the inventory that we would like to where we can lower that investment entry level. So as we continue to grow, as Bellwood continues to gain popularity, when we go public, when we start to increase this inventory, then we're able to offer this product, something like this, to somebody with a $500 investment level. Right? Really, really democratizing real estate investment. Okay. Now, to invest in a $7 million Hollywood Hills home with $20,000, that's already almost too good to be true, right? Where in the world would you ever have that opportunity, right? There's no other modules out there for that investment, but it can get better than that. It can get better than that. But for right now, it's an inventory thing. And when we increase that, we'll be able to decrease that entry level.
So can you give us any clue on what's going to come down the pipe like next?
Houses?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because obviously,
Sure.
The other day we looked at.
Yeah. I've been looking at Charlton Heston's old home.
But there was a property just like 2 houses down from this one we kind of looked at. I don't know what the status of that one. I don't even have to talk about that one, but also in Viewmont. The one on the corner.
The one on the corner, yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, and so that's funny. That's where Cardi B rents out. So we have Money Bagsio and here Cardi B at that one. And so an investment, a lady who owns that investor, she actually does hard money loans. And so she's a tough cookie. She knows what she's working with. And so my tactics through the realtor aren't necessarily working as well as they would on somebody who doesn't have a bunch of experience. But I can tell you that her numbers are way off. And the home is sitting there. We just looked at it again. There's no contractors over there. She thinks she can renovate it for $1.2 million. I think it's more along the lines of $2 million to renovate that home. But I think that's something that she's going to have to experience, like that roadblock, and then she's going to come back to us. So we might see that in a month. We're going to have her really kind of experience some of the drought of contractors in this area and the pricing that she's going to be getting. Yeah. And then she'll come back to us and say, and then guess what, Dave? Then I say it's $500,000 less than what I previously offered. Yeah. And then guess what, ma'am? It's going to be $500,000 less than that number if you continue to make me wait. Right now, I could have 3 houses within 25 feet of each other, basically, have a concentration of crews, reducing my truckloads of material up there, carpooling up there, sharing material, okay? This house doesn't care if they have the matching tile in their bathrooms. They don't even know. Yeah. I will literally use the same product in this house as I use in that house. right? And what does that mean? Well, I'm buying bulk material. Buying bulk material gets me wholesale pricing, right? When I'm doing the caissons for 1610 Viewmont, I'm going to be doing 6 to 8 caissons for that pool. Hey, I need one more over here. Can I get a Can I get a twofer? Right? Can I get a discount on this? Yes. Absolutely. So the more of a concentration of my resources, the better. That's why builders build houses right next to each other. They can send the crew from here to here to here. Framers from here to there. Drywallers, electricians, plumbers. It's a cycle, it's a system. And we can really capitalize on that area if we were able to tackle that one. We already will with the 2. But that third one would just really be the icing on the cake.
It's really interesting to see if any other opportunities when the people in the neighborhood.
Well, we have a German fella that lives right next to 1617, and he's entertaining a cash offer. Wow. So smaller home. We'll see what, apparently he's not there very often. And so we'll see if we can then we would have 4, all 1, 2, 3, 4, all across from each other. Completely unique situation, one of which is not typically an option for many builders or investment companies out there. This is kind of a unicorn type of situation. So I'm not going to bet on it. We got half of the equation done for sure. We'll see how the other 2 pan out.
So probably better for a conversation next time. But we also looked at some houses in Beverly Hills proper.
Yes, in the post office district.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Beverly Hills Post Office.
That was an awesome house, but we should talk about that next time.
Which one? Oh, Laurel. 1400 Laurel, yeah. So I got the soil samples back. Okay. One of the big things of these hillside homes is the geotech, report soil samples to make sure it's not sliding off the hill. But from the email I got, it looks like it's all good to go. Okay. So that's a huge
Let's save it for the next episode.
Episode 22. We're going to be talking about, Laurel Way. That is amazing.
That's an awesome house too, yeah.
Talk about views, right?
Yeah.
I would say competes with Sunset Plaza.
Yeah.
Sunset Plaza's got 180 view.
Yeah.
But this one has about the same too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on that one's on a bit of a peninsula.
And a little more conveniently located too, easier to access.
Laurel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and going up to there, seeing some of these mansions, 20, 30,000 square foot French chateaus. Yeah. So that's again, right? These houses are built. We never want to be the biggest, best in the neighborhood. We want to say, okay, wow, there's some really guys that have really set the tone for this neighborhood. We're going to be entry level. We're going to have all the cool features. We're not going to be 30,000 square feet. But if somebody wants to live amongst the billionaires, they can spend 13 million on 12 to 13 million on Laurel. Yeah. Now we would be buying that thing. Ooh, I can't say. That's episode 22. Make sure you listen in on 22.
Yeah.
So hey, I really appreciate you guys listening in on the Big Moves podcast. Dave and I have had a great time this morning chatting about 1610 and 1617 Viewmont Drive. And I really hope that you're going to join us for episode 22 where we talk about Laurel Way in Beverly Hills Post Office District. That's going to be amazing. So if you haven't already downloaded, subscribed, and liked our platforms, please do so. Bellwood Investments, Big Moves Podcast. We'll see you next time.